On the ground were her family, friends, and the assembled media. The launch was being covered live by CNN and a couple of other channels, but what happened next was horrific and beyond belief. In the aftermath of the disaster, it was concluded that the accident was due to a failure of rubber O-rings that provided a pressure seal in the aft field joint of the shuttle's right solid rocket booster. This failure was attributed to a design flaw, as their performance was compromised by the low temperature on the day of launch.
This is very, very sad. The Challenger, this was the Challenger. They were going to go to, where were they going? I don't know what their destination was, but somewhere in space. And this was one of those crews, they had a school teacher on it. And it exploded upon takeoff. And it was very, very sad. And it was all televised. It's just sad. It makes me very sad. I think there's a full documentary about it. There is a documentary, it's on Netflix. I added it to my watch list to watch. I love bleak documentaries, anything to make me feel something.
The pilot then made the decision not to land at Long Beach, but to travel to Los Angeles International Airport, as the runways were wider and longer, and the safety equipment was more up to date. The aircraft flew in a figure of 8 for over 2 hours to burn off the fuel, so as to lighten the plane, lower the risk of fire, and reduce the stress on the landing gear. Contrary to some news reports at the time, the plane did not dump fuel into the ocean. The plane's flight had hit the headlines and was being broadcast live around the world, and because JetBlue planes are equipped with direct TV satellite television, terrified passengers on board the flight were also able to watch live coverage on what was going on.
Okay, this story is crazy because I can't imagine being one of the people on the plane. I'd be having a heart attack. Essentially, the front wheels of the plane had twisted, so they weren't facing straight, so when it came to landing, they weren't going to be able to land. So what they did was they flew around until the gas was drained, so that the plane was light, so when they tried to land, there wouldn't be a massive explosion. It would just be a light crash, and maybe they could save everyone. I think they saved everyone. But can you imagine knowing like you're spinning in a circle, or like you're going in a figure 8 just to drain gas and hope that you live? Hope that you don't burn in a fire.
Why do you say
I know
that?
this.
Because that's the only time there is.
The only time? What's wrong with morning, afternoon?
Well, they're okay, but nighttime's when it really gets good. Then you're really ready.
Luckily, this girl decided not to go on the date with Rodney after they met face to face because she said it was too weird. Well, that judgment saved her life because Rodney took the lives of over 130 girls. He would often pretend to want to date them and then end up murdering them, so this girl on the game show got off really easy. But how mad would you be if a dating show literally set you up with one of America's worst serial killers ever?
This story is insane, and I've heard about it many, many times prior. But yeah, it was literally like, there's a dating show, this guy goes on it. At this point, he's already killed many people, no one knows. And he's just like hiding in plain sight. He's like a Ted Bundy type, you know? That's a real sociopath right there. That's terrifying. This poor woman dodged a bullet. Can you imagine like going on a date with a killer and you don't even know? How did he get on this game show? That's what's crazy to me. I don't like it. I don't like that killers are just hiding in plain sight. Like I think they say, that in your lifetime you'll pass at least, 2 serial killers? Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Central Dark, your place for all things horror. I'm your host Lucy McVie, and these are the top 10 scary things captured on live TV. Let's go.
We're certainly going to make sure that they hired the best in the business, which they did not.
The night of the event, Owen was waiting to make his entrance for his Intercontinental title match against The Godfather. He was in the harness set up by the rigging crew and was connected to a rappel wire hanging from the rafters. While a hype package for the match was playing, the clip connecting him to the wire released, and Owen fell 24 meters.
I thought I heard screaming, and then I felt something brush against the side of my head.
Oh, that guy was lucky that he just felt something brush the side of his head, because if he had been directly under that man, he would have died as well. He would have broken his neck. This guy fell from a great height and died. This is why I don't trust harnesses. Well, maybe I do. Depends. I'm not going to just allow someone to keep me harnessed in the middle of the roof. I don't know. And then allow me to plummet if I fall, you know. There's got to be safety netting under me. This is like that time Pink was performing on stage and she was harnessed and she was supposed to go up in the air, but one didn't get put on properly and then she just got flung across the crowd. It's not funny. but it was, because she's okay. This guy was not funny. He died, I think. Oh, they didn't say if he died. Oh, he did. Okay, he died. R.I.P.
March 11th, 2011, a magnitude 9 earthquake shook northwestern Japan and unleashed a raging tsunami. The effects of this catastrophic natural disaster were felt around the world. More than 120,000 buildings were destroyed, with hundreds of thousands more damaged beyond repair, and nearly 16,000 people lost their lives from the initial earthquake, the tsunami, and post-disaster health conditions. And although it was not the largest tsunami in history, it was probably the most unexpected, and left more than 500,000 people homeless.
Oh, this is just another sad one. It's so upsetting. And 16,000 people dying. It's terrifying. And also, it's just scary how the ocean is so powerful and it's knocking down those buildings like they're nothing. Just pushing them out of the way. It's horrible.
Få trænet 2 gange, inden vi skal spille den næste kamp, det kan godt irritere mig lidt, at vi måske må nøjes med en enkelt. Nu ser vi på dem i løbet af aften, skal de ikke træne, og så ser vi hvor meget de kan i morgen. Og eventuelt så vil vi lægge en træning ind lørdag.
But did you see what was wrong with the video? I'll play it again, so see if you spot it.
Måske ikke at få trænet 2 gange, inden vi skal spille den næste kamp, det kan godt irritere mig lidt, at vi måske må nøjes med en enkelt. Nu ser vi på dem i løbet af aften, skal de ikke træne, og så ser vi hvor meget de kan i morgen. Og eventuelt så vil vi lægge en træning ind.
Okay, so this video, it's freaked out the internet for a period of time. It freaked me out. But I think the more you look at it, the more it seems like she might have just been walking at the same time as the woman. So she disappears. But she goes from motionless to motion, like she would have to move fast to catch up. We would have seen her. We would have seen her smoke.
So that he didn't disappoint his
Tiny
fans.
Tim.
At the end of the show, Susan had noticed that Tiny was breathing heavy and that he had gone completely pale. When she asked him if he was feeling okay, he simply said he wasn't and collapsed. He was rushed to the hospital where doctors tried for over an hour to revive him, but were unsuccessful. He was pronounced dead at 11:20 p.m. at the age of 64.
But that's very, very sad. I didn't actually know that this is how he died. And for those who don't know, Tiny Tim is the one that sang Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Is that how it goes? Tiptoe Through the creepy song from Insidious.
The mating season. The tour did rather poorly, playing to crowds much smaller than what the venues could hold. On April 26th, the tour came to the Sunderland Empire Theatre, where the play would be performed to an audience of around 400 people, in a venue that could hold over 2,000. 15 minutes in, as part of the show, actress Olga Lowe sprayed a perfume bottle under James's nose, after which he gasped for air and fell back onto the sofa behind him. Naturally, the audience and the cast all thought Sid was playing for laughs and found this amusing. He said his next line, but immediately following this, his head slumped over and his eyes rolled into the back of his head.
Holy, that's bleak. I assume that behind that blurry video was him dying. I've seen too many people die in this video, and it's quite traumatic actually. But it sounds like this woman, this poor man with her perfume. I wonder if she did it intentionally. Probably. And again, I ask, where do people buy? How do people do this? Actually, don't tell me, I don't want to know.
On February 18th, 1961, Garibaldi was set to wrestle a young Bruno Sammartino in a singles match. It seemed to be a pretty straightforward exhibition match until Bruno performed a scoop slam on Garibaldi. When Garibaldi hit the mat, Sammartino noticed that he wasn't selling the move and simply lay still. At this point, he also noticed that Garibaldi was rolling his eyes and making a strange noise. Sammartino informed the referee, who immediately stopped the match and declared him the winner. Paramedics were called to tend to Garibaldi, but it was too late.
Oh, it sounds like he had a heart attack. That's so sad. This happens all the time. Not specifically in wrestling, but boxing. People die in the ring. I watched a boxing match and the guy died in the ring. Again, it's right up.
17. During a live broadcast in a courtroom, the world was shocked when Slobodan, who had just lost his appeal against a currently serving 20-year prison sentence, declared, "I, Slobodan Praljak, reject the verdict. I am not a war criminal." He then drank from a small bottle containing a brown liquid before saying, "What I am drinking now is..." Shortly after the cameras cut, he slumped to the floor. The proceedings were halted and medical staff were called in, who took Praljak to a nearby hospital where he later died.
That's bleak as hell. Oh my god. So a guy, he's a criminal. Did they say war criminal? I can't remember. He's a criminal. He got tried. He was guilty. He said, I'm not accepting that verdict. Took out some, downed it, died. Oh my god. Who just has? Thought that was like in the movies, you know? No one just has. How do you people? Well, there we have it. Thanks for tuning into this video. I've been your host, Lucy McPhee. Stick around for bloopers. Like, I don't know. What? Bump to a something doesn't look right. It's because I can't speak English, to be honest. I think it's because it's towards the end of the day. I'm tired and hot. I don't know what you do when you go home, and you're very private. You're very quiet, you're very private. If you can just tell me at the end of every day what you've done and where you've been, I'll feel much more comfortable. Just write a journal and send it to me. Anything. Do you feel anything, Chris? Sometimes? Only sometimes. Yeah, same. Only sometimes. I think it was the same time. Right? I think they affected the same places. Don't hold me to this then, but I think it was the same thing. There was one Christmas, my uncle was going to go to Thailand where a tsunami hit. But instead my dad was like, no, come spend Christmas with us in Calgary. And he was like, no, I'm going to go to Thailand. And my dad was like, no, come to Calgary. And he came to Calgary and then a tsunami hit. Isn't that crazy? He was going to be where it was. They should have a man on a plane that goes through a little hole and fixes any problems. Seems safe. He won't blow away. Can we even show this? Message me about this as well. I'll get back to you. I need time to process this information. I don't think anything I say sounds genuine. I'm like, R.I.P. R.I.P. Joss told me that no matter what, no matter my emotion, I'm just consistently monotone. Always. Even if I'm happy, I sound the same. Even if I'm sad, I just sound like this. No one knows how I'm feeling. I can't change it.
Oh, that was 10 deaths right there.
10 deaths. That was like the bleakest list I've ever done. Like, let's just react to 10 people dying on camera.